You've probably heard that happiness is a choice. And I know, it sounds like a bumper sticker. But what if you've actually been missing the point? Hi, my name is Michal. I believe you already have everything you need. And I personally didn't always see that in myself. But one of the biggest shifts for me was realizing that happiness isn't something that happens to you. It's something that you choose over and over again. I help people recognize their own power in that choice. And today I want to show you what that actually looks like. Because my son taught me something and I can't not share it. You've heard it 1,000 times. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And I know, it's super annoying. It sounds like something that your grandparent says when they don't really understand what you're going through. But stay with me here for a second, because I think there's something in that saying that we are completely missing, right? When life hands you a sour lemon and you have never tasted lemonade before, you can't even imagine what that lemon could become. Your mouth is puckering. Your head is moving back and forth. Your whole body is reacting from the extreme sourness. You cannot believe that something like that could ever turn into something sweet. That's the gap. Your grandparent teacher knows what's on the other side, but you don't. And no amount of them saying, trust me, it gets better, closes that gap. Because you're still tasting the sour in real time. My son, he plays competitive soccer. He's 11 years old. A couple years ago, he made club team and he was so excited. And then he found out he wasn't playing midfielder like he always had. They put him in as a defender, a position he had never played. And if you know anything about soccer, those are completely different roles. He was frustrated. He was confused. This wasn't what he had imagined. And my husband and I kept telling him, this is going to make you more valuable. If you can play multiple positions, you can become the player that they can't take off the field. Did he love hearing what we had to say? Not even a little bit. In fact, I don't even think he was listening to anything we said. I think he was so in the taste of the sour at that point. And I was standing there knowing that this would make him better, but he could not taste that yet. And here's the hard part for me, because everything in me wanted to step in, to talk to the coach, to fix it. But I didn't, because it wasn't my lesson to learn. And taking that from him would have actually hurt him. And I want to be really honest about something. When people say happiness is a choice, I understand why that feels almost offensive sometimes. Because when you're in it, when you're hurt, when life hands you something that you did not ask for, it's hard. It sucks. It's okay to acknowledge the suck. That's a part of being human. So what do you actually do when you're sitting with that sour taste? You don't ignore it. You don't pretend it's sweet. You feel it fully. But you don't stay there forever. You add something. You add acknowledgement. This doesn't feel great right now. Being honest with where you're at. You add movement. I'm not fixing everything, just deciding I'm not going to stay stuck here. You add something that shifts you just a little bit. That's how lemons become lemonade. Not by pretending the sour isn't there, but by adding to it. Sometimes that looks like going outside and touching a tree. I know how that sounds, but it works. Or walking barefoot on the grass. Or watching a movie that makes you cry. Or honestly, my favorite, getting in a bathtub and blasting music and just feeling everything. Self-care isn't always candles and meditation. Sometimes self-care is Rage Against the Machine at full volume in the bathtub. These aren't distractions, they're the sugar. My son didn't sit there waiting for it to feel better. He kept showing up. He learned the position. And over time, something shifted. The defender didn't feel like a punishment anymore. He actually started to enjoy it. But he also didn't give up on what he wanted. He spoke up. He told the coach he wanted to play mid. And now, 2 years later, he's getting minutes. And every time he steps onto that field, he's better because of what he went through. And I promise you, now that he's getting minutes there, it tastes so much better than it would have 2 years ago. So let me sum this up for you, because this is where it all comes together. Lesson number 1, sometimes the most loving thing that you can do is let someone sit in their sour. Be upset. You're not being cruel, but their growth is on the other side of it, and there's nothing that you can do to force that. You don't want to get in the way of that. Lesson number 2, feeling it is necessary. Staying stuck there is a choice. Lesson number 3, self-care isn't about escaping the hard. It's about adding something to it. And this is the last one. This is the one that changes everything. Happiness isn't about removing the sour. That's never going to happen. It's about adding enough to it that something new gets created. It's the small choices over and over again. That's what creates the shift. And I promise you, when it finally shifts, it's going to taste so much better because of what it took to get there. I want to know, what is your one intention today? Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a walk. Maybe it's just admitting that today's hard. Start there. Thanks for stopping by. I can't wait to see you again. Bye.